Hi, ladies. I'm Tiffany Lesnik, attorney, survivor, and founder of Live Free Legal. When most people think of abuse, they picture bruises or shouting matches. But some of the deepest wounds come from words, manipulation, and silence. Today, we're breaking down 10 forms of emotional and verbal abuse, the ones that leave scars on your soul, not just your skin. Because once you recognize the pattern, you can stop apologizing for your pain and start walking toward freedom. If you've ever thought, maybe I'm overreacting, or he's just stressed, this video will help you see what's really happening. I do need to warn you that we are going to go into depth and talk about a lot of examples of what is emotional and verbal abuse. This may be triggering for some viewers and it may be difficult to hear. So please take care of yourself and step away if needed. If at any point you feel unsafe, reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. You are not alone. We're going to talk about the 10 tactics of verbal and emotional abuse. So, number one, probably one of the most famous, is gaslighting, right? You're crazy. That never happened. Gaslighting is when someone rewrites your reality until you stop trusting your own memory. You stop trusting yourself. You start feeling like you are going crazy. Examples of gaslighting: denying clear facts or past events. You're imagining things. That never happened. I never said that. You never did that. Turning your emotions into proof that you're unstable. You are too sensitive, or accusing you of what he is actually projecting. Maybe he's angry and you say, "Why are you so angry?" "I'm not angry, you are." Or maybe he is crying when he's acting depressed and "Why are you so depressed?" "I'm not depressed, you are." Accusing you of things that he's exemplifying. Maybe you are actually feeling something and you say to him, "I'm really hurt that you said that." He discounts, minimizes your feelings and says, "You're not hurt." Takes away, rewrites your reality, rewrites arguments to make you out to be the villain. You are not confused if you are being gaslit. You are being manipulated. Number two, name calling and character attacks, such as "you're worthless," "lazy," "stupid." Words meant to break your confidence are weapons used against you in order to control you. And he's going to probably use some really ugly words. I'm trying to keep this clean for YouTube, right? He is going to call you horrific names, cuss words that I'm not going to say on this channel. There are very common names that abusers will call their spouses. They usually start with the words C and B, if you can follow me. Very common with abusers. So he's going to call you cuss words. He is going to attack what you look like. He's going to attack your intelligence. He is going to attack your faith. He is going to attack your motherhood or your ability to parent. He's going to attack your ability to manage finances. He's going to attack your ability to create a home or manage a household. Anything he possibly can do, he is going to attack that. He's going to mock you in front of others, and he's going to use humor as a way to try to rationalize his behavior, right? He's going to say something really cruel about you and then say, "I was just joking." Cut it out. Take it easy. Relax. "I was just joking." And mocking you in front of others, which is really embarrassing. But the truth is, God calls you chosen. You are not worthless. And the names that he calls you are lies. So number three, blame shifting. You made me act this way. It is your fault. If there's one thing that abusers will do time and time again, is they are going to blame you for everything. They will never take accountability. They just won't. Abusers refuse to accept responsibility. Every bad thing somehow becomes your fault. For example, if you didn't nag, I wouldn't have to yell so much. You pushed me too far. You know how to trigger me. You know how to get under my skin. If you wouldn't have said that, or if you wouldn't have done X, Y, or Z, I would not have had to have hit you. But the truth is, you are not responsible for another person's behavior, and you are not responsible for another person's sin. He is responsible for his choices, and there are consequences for those choices. You are not at fault, and you are not to blame. So, number 4, giving you the silent treatment and withholding affection. So, silence becomes a punishment. It's his way of freezing you out until you beg for forgiveness or for peace, for something you didn't even do. Right? It's his way of completely turning it around on you. Again, it's gaslighting, right? So some of examples of that would be ignoring your text message when you need something. He just completely ignores you. Or walking past you for days in the home, refusing to acknowledge you, won't say hello, won't say your name, won't respond to your request, refusing to speak unless you apologize for something you didn't even do. Withholding physical affection, attention, or validation, won't hold your hand, won't hug you, won't sleep in the same bed, or won't sleep near you. And he can do this for days on end, sometimes weeks on end, sometimes months on end. And he does this as a way to control you. And many times he may do this as a result of his own behavior. It might be that he is the one who started the argument. It may be that he's the one who was angry. It may be that he is the one who insulted you, who said something horrific to you, who cussed you out, who put his hands on you, who harmed you in some way. And then he gives you the silent treatment because he tells you, again, going back to the blaming, that it's your fault. So this is just another layer of abuse that he puts on top of it to further control and make you feel defeated. The truth is that love communicates, love shows affection, control withholds, control punishes. So, number 5, public humiliation and mockery. Abusers will often tear you down in front of others to make you feel smaller and themselves bigger. Examples: sarcasm or ridicule designed as jokes in public. Maybe there's something private that only he knows about you that you're embarrassed about, right? And he decides he's going to divulge that in public because he thinks it's funny. Criticizing you in front of friends, family, or your children. Laughing at your pain or your embarrassment in front of other people, making you the center of attention in a way that's not funny. But the truth is, humiliation is never humor. Respect is a basic requirement of love. And him humiliating you in public and mocking you in public is not a sign of love. So, number 6, emotional manipulation and guilt tripping. He twists your empathy into a leash to keep you compliant. This is one that we see a lot when we're filing for protective orders. So, for example, after everything I've done for you, you owe me so much. Look at how much I love you. No one else is ever going to love you like I do. If you leave, I'll kill myself. That is so common. And ladies, I will tell you, in all of the hundreds of cases of domestic abuse that I have handled and also tried in court and have heard, if you leave, I will kill myself, I have not had an abuser kill themselves yet. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen and that it won't happen. but the probability of that happening is very low. It does happen, but the probability statistically is very low. He is using that as a means to control and manipulate you and keep you from leaving and is torturing you. He will also say things like, you don't care about this family. You don't care about me. You don't care about the children. If you did, you would do this. The truth is, compassion should not cost you your safety or your sanity. So, number 7, control through criticism, undermining you. Constant judgment is control dressed up as helping you improve. Examples: correcting how you cook, how you dress, or how you speak. I remember one of the worst Christmases that I ever had with my children was a Christmas in which I cooked a hard boiled egg the wrong way. I don't remember if I turned on the water before I put the egg in, or I had already turned the water on and it was hot before I put the water in. But when my ex saw that, all hell broke loose in our house. And it ended up being the most stressful, worst Christmas day, with screaming and yelling and name calling and children crying. And it wasn't Christmas like you expect Christmas to be over a stupid, hard boiled egg. Many times these guys are going to blow up. They're going to name call. They're going to cuss. They're going to criticize. They're going to gaslight. They're going to undermine. They're going to do all of these things over the stupidest, dumbest, smallest things that are going to leave you so confused that you don't know what happened, right? You're so confused by it. Another way he's going to undermine you is he's going to pick apart your parenting. He's going to criticize every single thing you do in your parenting. And many times these guys don't parent at all. They don't help. They don't get up in the middle of the night with the children. They don't change diapers. They don't bathe the children. They don't go with them to their events. They don't take them to school. They don't take them to the doctor. They don't soothe them and take care of them when they're sick. Some do, but most of them do not, right? So then many of them also don't cook. They don't take care of the household, but they're going to undermine the way you cook, what you cook. They're going to criticize your food. Many times they're going to throw food across the table or across the kitchen. Another example of control through criticism is using faith or scripture to shame you. A good wife would fill in the blank. A Proverbs 31 woman would fill in the blank. If you were a submissive wife, you would fill in the blank. And that's using scripture in an unbiblical way in order to gain an advantage for himself. It's not using it in a godly, honorable way. It's using it in a way that is breaking God's heart, because the Bible is a love language, and it was not meant to oppress and undermine you. It is meant to lift you up. Another way that he uses control through criticism is criticizing and undermining you in front of the children. Kids, your mom's too dumb to understand that. Or kids, your mom can't do math. Or kids, your mom, fill in the blank, constantly bringing you down, demeaning you, making fun of you in front of the children, or blaming you in front of the children. It's all your mom's fault. It's your mom's fault we're getting a divorce. It's your mom's fault we're getting separated. Or telling the children, they can't have a cell phone, or they can't have this Christmas gift, or they can't have this because of you. Again, it's your fault. The truth of the matter is criticism meant to crush. Correction, it's domination. So number 8, isolation, cutting off your support. Abusers isolate you so their voice becomes the only one you hear. And when you're isolated, that is the worst thing, because if the only voice you're hearing is theirs, and it's distorted and it's irrational and it's sinful, and they're the only ones that have their interest at heart, right? Your thinking becomes distorted and you can't hear clearly and you don't have clarity and you're not objective. And so you're not able to make good, sound, insightful choices anymore. Some examples of cutting you off from your support: complaining that your friends are bad influences, not letting you hang out with your friends anymore, creating conflict so you stop seeing your family. So maybe initially he doesn't stop you from seeing your family, but every time you do see your family, there's so much hoopla, there's so much conflict, there's so much distress, so much walking on pins and needles, so much going on with him that you just stop seeing them because you don't want to deal with it anymore, right? He causes such a ruckus. He causes so many problems. It's just easier to not rock the boat by not seeing family, friends, maybe neighbors, anyone. Maybe it's being involved in the school, being involved in the PTA. Maybe it's being involved in church, a small group, a women's ministry. Cutting you off from all of those things, making you feel guilty for having outside support and not spending that time with him. You don't love him enough because you have outside resources or you have outside support, outside interests that are filling you up, right? He's not interested in you filling up your heart. He only wants you to satisfy his immediate needs. Healthy love never isolates, it encourages connection. And true love, real love, is a gift of free will. That is the love that God gives us, right? It's not a forced relationship. It's not forced love. It is a gift of free will that's given freely and received freely in return. That is what love is. And love in an abusive relationship is not love, it is control and manipulation, and all things that are the antithesis of love. So, number 9, jealousy, accusations, and monitoring. Constant suspicion isn't love, it's control fueled by fear. And I know you ladies out there can identify with this, right? I don't know if abusers take a class or what they do, but they all seem to have the same narrative. They all seem to follow the same rhetoric, right? They have such small egos. Even though they pump themselves up and have all these wonderful things to say about themselves, they really have deflated small egos. They are such little children and they are jealous creatures. He is going to do things like check your phone or your social media. And sometimes they do it constantly. They consume so much energy in following you around, stalking you, checking everything you're doing, looking at your messages, looking at who you're talking to, looking at how long you're on the phone, who you're calling, who's calling you. They're going to accuse you of cheating. They're going to accuse you of cheating with everyone, whether it's the mailman, the pastor, the neighbor, your parents' friends. I mean, it is ridiculous. My clients, when I meet with them, time and time again, I can just put in my notes, accused of cheating, because in abusive relationships, abusers almost always accuse their spouses of cheating. Don't be late from work. Don't be late from any kind of appointment, grocery shopping, or anything like that, because it's coming. He is going to interrogate you about every phone call, about every friend, every time you go out. It is possible he's going to show up where you are, right? He's going to show up at that movie you went to with your girlfriends. He's going to show up at your dinner event. He's going to show up wherever you are, and then he's going to cause a scene. Or when you get home, it's going to be hours and hours and hours of yelling and name calling and accusations and nagging, and he won't let you sleep. So again, we revert back to that isolation where it becomes too much trouble for you to go out anymore, for you to socialize, for you to have connection. So you just stop. You stop having friendships. You stop going out. You stop having that support that you need within the community. And then he isolates you and has even more control over you. Ladies, the truth is jealousy isn't proof of love. It's proof of insecurity and dominance. So number 10, threats, ultimatums, and conditional love. Love shouldn't depend on your obedience or fear. That again is the antithesis of love, right? Love is patient. Love is kind. It doesn't boast. It does not envy, right? It's not based on fear. So let me give you some examples. If you leave, I will take the children. I'm going to take full custody of the children. Or I will take the children and you will never see them again. If you leave, I will hire the most expensive attorney that I can find. And I will make sure that you don't get a dime and you will be broke and homeless. If you don't do this, I'm done with you. If you don't do this, I'm leaving, I'm divorcing you. Many, many times they will threaten separation or divorce. I'm done. I want a divorce. I'm leaving. Again, another threat, we talked about this earlier. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill something else. I'm going to kill you. Now, we need to be very careful with those types of threats. We need to look at safety for you, right? And we need to look at the lethality risk for you, because it's very possible that threat is a serious threat. But many times they throw around these threats just to scare you, just to keep you within their dominion or control. So I would highly recommend that you seek the advice of a domestic violence organization, a domestic violence advocate, or a therapist to assess lethality and dangerousness in your situation when he starts resorting to threats. He may also threaten to expose secrets or ruin your reputation. He may threaten to go to your family and tell a whole variety of lies about you, or to tell all about your relationship. What is happening in our marriage, what's happening in our relationship. I'm going to go to your parents. It's very common that they send very, very elaborate, very, very long emails out to family members about what's going on in the marriage. Of course, they distort the truth, right? To make you out to be the bad guy, again, blaming everything on you. It may be that you have some intimate videos or intimate photos that he's taken of you, that he's threatened that he will expose. He's going to post it on social media, or he's going to send it out on a thread somewhere to family or friends or neighbors. Maybe he's threatening to destroy some personal property, threatening to destroy family heirlooms or things your children have made for you. Okay, so these are all realities. These are all forms of abuse. But the truth is that real love doesn't require you to earn your safety. You deserve safety and peace in relationship. So I know I said I was going to discuss the top 10, but there's one more that we have to do. This one we have to do because it is so common in abusive relationships. So we're going to call this number 11. And I've actually termed this anger amnesia, and it's forgetting. And then we got a couple other things too: playing the devil's advocate, blocking and diverting, or circular reasoning. Okay, so it's him blowing up, anger amnesia, calling you names, being completely out of control, following you around the house, screaming and yelling, going on for hours, being extremely abusive. He's a hurricane. He is a hurricane, and he is destroying everything in his path. And you are left absolutely devastated, completely wiped out, and exhausted. And you are like, what just happened? And the very next day, he wakes up, and what? Ladies, you know the answer to that. He doesn't remember anything that happened. He denies everything that happened, and he's in a great mood. Whistling, everything's great. It's like he was this volcano that exploded and got everything out, and now he's just fine. And he remembers nothing. And meanwhile, you are completely feeling devastated. And over time, you start discounting the behavior because you're like, did that really happen the way I remember it? Was it that bad? You start discounting and rationalizing the abuse that you're living through. You also start repressing the abuse that you're living through in order to survive because it's that bad. So he also plays the devil's advocate. No matter what you say, he's going to take the opposite position just to be argumentative. He's never going to affirm you. He's not going to lift you up. He's not going to support you. He is always going to take the other side, the other position, just to be difficult in order to control, in order to harm, in order to argue with you. And the last one, this is one I know you all can relate to. It's what we call blocking and diverting, or I also call circular reason. And this is why you should never get together in person with an abuser. This is why they always want to talk to you. So don't meet them anywhere or get on the phone with them, because you know what happens. The minute you start talking, right, you go on and on and on and on and on, and this conversation leads to nowhere. You start at A, and now somehow you're at B, and then you're at C and D, and he keeps changing the subject and confusing you and gaslighting you. And by the end of the conversation, you feel like your head is going to explode, right? And he always brings it back to you. It's really, really hard to stay focused on those conversations, right? This is a form of abuse. So don't get together with them in person. Don't talk to them on the phone. That is a sure way to avoid having this happen to you. Make sure everything is in writing, because then he can't forget what he said. You have it documented, and you can be very clear on what you said because you have it in writing. A classic thing abusers also do is that when they speak something into existence or they speak something into the environment, they automatically believe that you agreed with them. So they may say, on Wednesday, we're going to do this. You never agreed to it, but just because they spoke it into existence, they believe that you're in agreement. Or maybe they believe your children should go to X school. You never agreed to it, they just brought it up. But because they spoke it out loud, they believe you are in agreement. So, one of the best things you can do to help yourself is to be getting things in writing. When it comes to text messages, emails, anything he puts in writing, anything that you put in writing can be used as evidence later on. So, when he's blowing up your phone, when he's insulting you, when he's cussing you out, when he's calling you names, threatening you, these are all forms of abuse. Document them, save them, download them, share them with a friend or someone else who can make sure that these pieces of evidence get saved for you so that he can't go and delete them from your phone or from your email. Make sure you have those. And I know these are not all the forms of verbal and emotional abuse. There are so many forms of abuse. I want to hear from you. What are some other ways you've experienced verbal or emotional abuse? Drop it in the chat. I want to hear from you. Do you want a copy of our free safety plan? You can go in the description below, click on the link. I will send you an absolutely free safety plan so you can start planning how to safely get out of your abusive relationship. If you've recognized yourself in any of these descriptions, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been surviving a war you didn't even realize you were drafted into. God never meant love to be twisted into torment. Emotional abuse strips away your identity, but God restores it. Psalm 139:14 says, "You are fearfully and wonderfully made." And Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." You are meant for something more. You have an amazing purpose. If this episode spoke to you, take your next step. I would encourage you to learn more about Live Free Legal at www.livefreelegal.com. Join our Empower Her membership for faith-centered teaching and sisterhood, plus lots of free legal resources, legal Q&As, webcast. It's only $35 a year, so it's a great way to get connected without spending a ton of money. You can also apply to our Live Free Legal coaching group, where we walk with women just like you through the legal and emotional aftermath of abuse while going through the separation and divorce process. Because freedom starts the moment you decide, I am not what he said about me. I would encourage you to get connected. If you didn't watch the first part of this series, we talked about the different types of physical abuse. I'd encourage you to go back on our channel and watch that video. We go through all of the different types of physical abuse that you may not have thought about. So subscribe, like us, give us a thumbs up. We'll be back here again next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. We drop a webcast every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Come back, get empowered, learn more, and let us help you move from fear to freedom.